In today's video, we're going to be reacting to how Pollo proved he is better than Peterbot. Now, this video is made by Timmy FNBR, who makes some amazing Fortnite documentaries. I will leave a link to his channel in my description below, and let's get into the video.
For all of 2024, the entire Fortnite world was only saying one name.
Peterbot.
Arguably the best player to ever touch the game. Well,
Facts.
At least that's what everybody thought. Because this past weekend's FNCS Grand Finals was full of crazy clutches.
Badil season now.
Not too early.
He takes down Badil as a solo. Peterbot takes height as a solo. Gets the Siphon. Takes down Sphinx. What the f is happening?
Drama.
Did you congrat Acorn? Bro, shut the f up, bro.
Whoa.
Why would I congrat someone that f me over the season and made me feel like
And one
what?
of the best underdog stories in the history of Fortnite.
Pollo.
Peterbot and Pollo are perhaps the most successful duo in Fortnite history. If
Facts.
you're a fan of the channel, you'd know that I've made a couple of videos about these guys. So if you want to know everything about Peterbot and Pollo, you can go back and check those out later. But for now, I'm going to do a quick recap of what happened last year before we dive into all the drama of 2025.
Let's do it.
In December of 2023, Peterbot and Pollo decided to team up for the first time. They worked together perfectly, with Peterbot doing crazy amounts of damage and Pollo being one of the smartest IGLs in the game.
Feels a little better for me because Peter's been known for a while, but this year I came up, I guess.
Hell
He's
yeah,
definitely
Pollo.
better getting eliminations, but I think I'm smarter than him. And he'll probably tell you that as well.
In Major 1, their first ever big tournament together, they finished second place in NA Central with 721 points.
Nice.
Acorn and Cold in first, Peterbot and Pollo in second. Peterbot was putting on an absolute highlight reel. The broadcast was showing some of the most ridiculous shots I have ever seen out of them.
Following that, they played a literal perfect Cash Cup, getting 6 out of 6 wins in finals.
Nice.
It was too early.
Go back. Nice.
Nice. Nice.
Nice.
Oh my god.
Let's go.
Then in Major 2, this duo broke the point record for FNCS on
Nice.
day number 1. Then on day
1,000
number
points is
2,
insane,
they
unheard
won
of.
the whole thing, getting their first FNCS win together.
Pollo still hanging out way up above the clouds.
That's what's impressive about this. Peterbot is down here literally 2v1ing, fighting everyone.
I'm just
while Pollo's
chilling.
Like, hey man, I'll make sure I lock in the win. One for a no-scope, okay?
Alright. Don't feed them the splashes. Don't feed them the splashes.
Oh
Nice.
my god!
Insanity.
Holy shit! He just pulled off one of the
There's no mustache.
craziest wins
His
we've
dirty ass
ever
room.
seen in Fortnite.
Not only was this their first win as a duo, but this was Pollo's first ever FNCS win. But little did he know, this would not be his last. Because in the literal next FNCS of Major 3,
Once you lock in,
they
you
took
lock
home
in.
first place again.
It is confirmed. Peterbot and Pollo have done it. The back-to-back has happened. Peterbot and Pollo, congratulations once again.
And a back-to-back FNCS win is insanely rare, but to follow it up with something even greater, which was a three-peat, was basically unheard of.
Would you please give it everything you've got for the FNCS Global Champions 2024, Peterbot and Pollo!
Let's go. Peterbot's gonna point at it. There we go. Classic.
So with
Classic
Peterbot and
cringe.
Pollo being quite literally unstoppable and dominating all of the grand finals in NA Central and in Globals, they were set to take on 2025 together. Or maybe not, because after the then world champions finished off
They
the
broke up.
Globals, they decided to mysteriously part ways.
I saw this. I saw this.
Me and Pollo are split up for trios, chat.
I don't know why,
They're
though.
like just gonna play with a tarper.
However, while surprising, this wasn't entirely out of nowhere. See, Epic Games had just announced that the game mode would be switching from duos to trios in 2025. And Peterbot and Pollo most likely thought that their playstyles wouldn't fit together well in this new competitive environment.
Right.
Technically, the breakup actually happened in 2024 during September, right after the global finals, but they did reunite in November and December to try playing a couple of Cash Cups together.
They
However,
did alright.
they did end
Oh,
up
that's a
splitting
crazy photo.
again. And this would bring us into 2025, where people were starting to finalize their trios and get ready for Major 1 FNCS, which we all just watched this past weekend. About a month into 2025, it was clear that Peterbot and Pollo were done for good, and many people speculated that this would be the start of the downfall of Pollo's career. And they thought that Peter had simply been carrying Pollo through their insane run and journey in 2024. But Pollo was about to have his chance to prove every single one of his haters wrong. The FNCS Divisional Cups started out at the beginning of 2025 and ran once a week for 5 weeks. Peterbot's new trio consisted of him, Ritual, and Cold, while Pollo teamed up with the up-and-coming Bolts and Rapid. Peterbot and his trio completely swept these divisional cups, placing first in literally every single week. On the other hand, Pollo had a few issues. They placed 10th in week 1 and 2nd in week 2, which was a little bit better, but dropping back to 5th in week 3 and 2nd again in week 4. And don't get me wrong, these are incredible placements. But with Peter literally getting first every week, everyone kind of assumed he was just going to win FNCS again.
True.
So Pollo made a last-ditch effort to take down Peterbot and prove that he was the best of the best in the game. He decided with 1 week left to split from his trio and find a new team.
Oh, what?
The trio would now consist of Agers and Acorn.
Oh, Acorn's the GOAT.
The trio finished 3rd place in week 5, which, although wasn't as good as his other placements, was still pretty impressive considering.
That's solid, man. Top 5 is solid.
People were pretty skeptical of this move that Pollo decided to make. I mean, making such a huge change in trios so close to FNCS is a very risky move. See, making a last-minute change of duo is one thing. Maybe both players don't have great communication, but if you're both good enough, you can make something work.
Right.
Whereas in trios, communication is everything. When you have that many moving pieces, everyone on the team has to be on the same page.
Right.
So Pollo just had to hope that they could make it work.
Come on, Pollo.
And that the change would pay off. Surprising absolutely nobody, both Peter and Pollo's trios managed to fly through the qualifiers and move on to the grand finals.
Of course.
In the qualifiers, both Peterbot and Pollo looked really good. Peter won his first game easily with 13 total kills.
All the advantage is their game to win now. This is like a foreshadow of what
Dang.
we could potentially see later this month. Cold, Peterbot, Ritual, box to box against their only real threat. The one
Oh gosh, I'm scared.
Cold scrambling around, Peterbot down below, trying to fight it out, trying to be the disruptor. Cooper scrambles around, Cheeks goes down, Vadil goes down, Cooper gets one, but it's just not enough to overtake Destiny.
Dang.
And Pollo won his second game with 10 kills.
Has a flopper left, but no time to use it. That's Craze just leading the path, trying to give him some extra cover on the other side, but they're getting smushed to the low ground.
Nice.
Medallion makes a play on a crook on the other side, bringing it down to a 3v2, but he
Focus,
gets dropped
focus.
as well. Ocus by itself, and he doesn't stand
Focus
a
is good,
chance.
man.
Agers, Acorn, and Pollo pull off a big win.
But at the end of the day, qualifiers really mean nothing.
Right.
Because what it comes down to is the grand finals.
Okay.
And here we are on February
FNCS
15th of
Day 1.
2025, day 1 of grands.
I'm scared.
Fortnite fans everywhere turned in to see their once favorite duo now facing off against each other. Game 1 actually started out rough for Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual. Peter decided to continue the strategy he used last season, which is focusing on collecting the best medallion in the game. And for
That
Chapter
medallion
6
is
Season
broken.
1, the best medallion available is the Invisibility Medallion. Unfortunately, 4 other teams wanted this medallion as well, which made the boss fight way more difficult.
Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual have to make a decision quickly now, as they haven't picked up any eliminations, and you know, it's very telling so far of the strength of the lobby, right? We all knew that
nobody's messing with the boss.
Might have taken a fight early on against the trio nearby, but it seems like that didn't end up working out in their favor.
They had to waste a ton of time waiting the other teams out, but luckily they did get the coin and then got into a fight right after.
It's even hard to break through that to try to get what you need. On the other side of the map, you see in Storm Surge really dictating a lot of what we're seeing here today. Ritual goes down. Peterbot and Cold only 42 above.
Well, yeah, the medallion only works if you sprint, huh?
Medallion, they're still not finding those opportunities to get what they need without risking it all.
After this fight,
Dang.
Peter is left with the medallion to solo clutch, but things didn't exactly work out. He would die in a respectable 4th place with 7 eliminations.
The high ground, the high ground.
Pollo, on the other hand, continued to rise to the occasion.
Pollo by himself, can he make the heroic play? He knows 2v1 weak. He's trying to take advantage, but out and around, that's going to be a minute. Braid from down below, Visual's there as well. 3v1, but Pollo's not going to be stopped. Down goes a Minish, 9 HP, finally making it into the zone. He's trying to let the Storm do his work for the Siphon to come into play.
Very smart play right there. He's going to heal up. It's all up to Visuals now. And it's going to come down to a single shot. Pollo!
Oh, that was crazy.
Pollo's placed first in the first game, getting 14 team eliminations, which was an incredible way for Pollo to start off his grand finals.
For real.
And remember, Pollo was playing with a huge chip on his shoulder. People had been saying he was getting carried by Peterbot, so to get this boost of confidence at the beginning of the tournament must have felt great. But you can't ever count out the GOAT. Because in Game 2, Peterbot and his trio managed to stick it out and make it to the end game. However, once again, they still could not overcome Pollo, Agers, and Acorn.
Dang.
Second in Game 2 with 13 kills, while Peterbot's trio died out in 6th place with 9 kills.
That's crazy,
and
man.
If things could get any worse, Peterbot shocked everybody in Game 3 by going down early.
Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold looking to fight another one of these early game scuffles to try to get their serves to really set themselves up for some of the performances that they've been having so far, trusting his team to stay alive and put the same pressure on the other side.
What I like about this is no 2 games are the same, right? They've gotten a completely different way this time around. Peterbot, though, is going to be the first to fall here to the hands of Fredbot and Nut there on the other side of the wall. Meanwhile, Ritual and Cold seemingly deciding, hey, wait a second, we haven't done enough damage, let's get out of here. And they actually back off.
Luckily, however,
they leave his
Peter's
card.
Teammates were able to revive him and they marched together into endgame, only for Cold and Ritual to go down early.
No. Where are they? Okay.
As soon as they get to the other side, they got to start to look back. They got to start to get active so they don't worry about it later. But Yapko gets caught out. Big find by Peterbot, get the elimination. But Ritual gets dropped as well. Bringing it down to a 2v2 in this fight.
Once again, they find themselves just not as a trio in the end game. This is what's holding them back right now. This time, it's Cold and Peterbot who have to work with one another, continuously losing the, and I'm going to say this very lightly, IGL of the team.
This, once again, left Peterbot alone, and he really needed a clutch after not doing as good as he wanted the first 2 games. And he held on for as long as he could, but eventually falls.
But no, there it is. Some mats finally picked up now. Up he goes with the Void Oni mask. That's a wall that you couldn't climb if he wanted to, but no. Finally, he falls in a short game for him.
All Peter could hope for now was for things to turn around in the second half
of the day.
And unfortunately, things would only get worse. As in the next game, Peterbot's teammates would die off of spawn.
Pretty quickly, it's got the attention of a trio outside. Meanwhile, Cold
he needs Pollo, dude.
Once again, Ritual just seems to not be able to really catch his footing here. And the surge is active, very reminiscent of game number 1.
I'm about to say 91 surge.
Damn, that's crazy, dude.
Time we see 91 surge in the FNCS finals lobby, and it just goes to show this is how important it actually is. But the
they're gonna die.
Coming in, Peterbot once again forced to disengage outward, but just a little bit too slow. Cold gets caught on the mix, he gets knocked down, and now Peterbot's left by himself.
What a bad game!
This
Holy
early
smokes!
In the game, that's a disaster again. I don't think anybody would expect.
Although he was able to revive them and get to endgame, they were so disadvantaged that they ended up going down in 6th place again.
Although they have a single elimination, they're just pressuring the rest of the lobby. The big points, though, are in the hands of Cold, Ritual, and Peterbot. They are flying up the standings right now, and it's still active down here. Meanwhile, Cold falls, though. It's all up to Peterbot. Once again, he's the last man standing.
A familiar station that he's already ready for.
Peter's just one guy. He can't do this. He can't carry them.
The run ends. Top 6 for them.
Pollo's trio, on the other hand, managed to get into the top 5 and outlive Peter's trio once more, getting 4th place.
W.
Moving toward the north, he peeks out for a second. High ground puts a ton of pressure, getting to expand the build, force them down low into that chaos, but Ager's trying to play it smart. He doesn't want to go to the ultimate low ground, not at this stage in the game.
Dude, they're just getting targeted, man.
In game 5, Peter and his trio would get 4th place, while Pollo and his trio would get 3rd.
Okay.
So for the first 5
so they're like a little
of
close.
Day 1, Peterbot's trio did not survive past Pollo's one single game. With all that being said, Peterbot, Cold, and Ritual knew they had to change things up going into Game 6 if they wanted to regain some ground going into Day 2. So they switched up their strategy, and instead of focusing on W keying and box fighting other trios, they decided to play a lot safer, sit in surge bases, and get tags on the passing teams.
Come on, guys.
However, this was not their best decision, as they landed in 10th place with only 7 eliminations. Points-wise, this would be their worst game of day number 1.
Pay close attention to the high ground teams, though, as Agers, Acorn, and Pollo seemingly have this game in a headlock right now.
Pollo, dude, the high ground is where it's at, honestly. I think if you have high ground, you never lose.
Both Cooper feeling the pain, but Peterbot finally goes down. That's Rapid who gets credit for that elimination.
And Pollo did exactly what he had been doing all day.
Winning?
Carrying his team to a 2nd place where they had 12 cumulative kills.
2v2 now. Booga goes up. It's up against Acorn. Beautiful tag there. Acorn is down. Booga's got the high ground. He's got a chance to bounce back.
2v1 situation. They're ready to drop down. They know they have this one in the bag. Acorns are trying to take the other side. Threats taking damage.
Insane.
As well, but they have a strength in numbers, a history as a team, and they win the 6th and final game of the day.
At the end of day 1, Pollo was in first
Hell yeah.
place with 512 points. And although Peterbot and his trio looked a little bit inconsistent, they did manage to get the 2nd
Why did you
place
drop
spot right
him?
behind
Why did you
Pollo
drop
with
him?
420 points. And at the end of day 1, we saw Ritual tweet out, "Today is on me," basically taking the heat for some of the losses by going down early. But at the end of the day, it's trios, and it's really not on one person, it's on the entire team.
Yeah, I mean, they
and
got
that meant
2nd
going
too.
into day 2, Peterbot, Ritual, and Cold had to lock in and make up the 100-point deficit if they wanted to catch up to Pollo, Agers, and Acorn. And if there's one thing you should know about Peter, it's to never count him out, because the trio went on to win the first game of day 2 with 14 eliminations.
It's just on a sliver of HP. No full shields on the Cold either. If clicks to make this play quick and in a hurry, get the damage, he can finally figure out a way to come off clutch, but they're ready for the fight on the other side. They drop down. Peterbot is not going to be disappointed because Cold and Ritual clutch up when it matters and win their first game of Major 1.
On top of that, Pollo's team got the worst finish of their tournament so far, getting 6th place with 9 kills.
Agers down below, trying to get as many points as possible. First place still on the line as he scrambles to the backside of the zone, getting tagged up along the way. Big flank on the one, but Clicks shuts him down. That's going to be the end of their run in 6th place.
This was a huge boost for Peterbot, because not only did they have a good game, Pollo also had a bad game, meaning that they started to close the gap. After game number 8, the gap between the trios got even closer, because following a good game from
All right, Ritual locked
they
in.
were only down 39 points to Pollo's trio. And with 4 games left to go, it was really anybody's chance to win. And before we keep talking about this battle between Peterbot and Pollo, it's kind of important that we also mention the rest of the leaderboard. They're basically nowhere to be found. I mean, Pollo's team at 660 points, Peterbot at 621, and then the next closest trio only has 470
That's insane.
points. This was a 2-horse race, and it was going down to the finale. However, tragedy would strike in game number 9 for Peterbot, when he would go down in a devastating 17th place after Clix' trio forced them off the medallion on Island.
Oh.
Dead. Kill 2. Kill all. Get out. In and out. Get out. Fucking Cole's pissed on. Is Peter pissed on?
Oh.
In this same game, Pollo would finish 3rd, which once again widened the gap between Peterbot and 1st place. And game 10 didn't turn out much better for Peter, because once again, they finished outside the top 10 in just 11th. However, Pollo's team didn't have the best game either, finishing in 6th, so it was still possible for them to have a comeback. And once again, I when the odds are stacked against him is when Peterbot is at his best. So during game 11, when both of Peterbot's teammates went down early, and it was up to him to solo clutch, he went absolutely crazy.
Peterbot's going up. 70 builds. Badil's trying to go up. Badil's trying to 90 up to get up to 6. Doesn't realize he's lurking down below. He's invisible. Badil sees him now. Pete takes down Badil as a solo. He's getting chopped though. He needs a siphon. Can't get it. 10 HP.
Dude, he's a madman.
Jumps back up. Peterbot takes height as a solo. Gets the siphon. And there it is. Takes down Sphinx. What the fuck is happening?
He's crazy.
Oh my god. Ryan comes up. Ryan gets chopped. He pumps him 10 HP. Gets him again. That's another siphon. Doesn't even need it. Drops down. He's come out. It's a 1v2. He needs to take down Quanti. And Edgy takes his pump.
And
dude, he was crazy though.
Points, it was down to the final game. However, surprisingly, Peterbot would get contested at his drop spot by a random team with no potential to even get top 10.
Even now, look at this. What's going on here? Power, Polis, and Ritual. That's all I'm saying.
What?
This is their drop. Freeze up.
Kind of weird. I'm guessing they maybe thought that Pete was going to go night shift as well. Or Kin's throwing up the leaderboard. This team's already been under enough
because he was real out cheating allegations. Oh.
Well, Cole's getting in. Cole's getting active. Cole doesn't care. Cole takes him down. Cole,
nice.
Of course, Cole just runs straight in. Yo, this shit just gets in, bro. What the? Homie's literally stuck in the vault now.
Although this might throw off some other competitors.
Yeah, this is really random.
This is Peterbot that we're talking about. And he somehow overcame this and went on to win the final game of the tournament.
Dang.
Pollo goes down to Jack. Wait, he falls. Aegis solo. Aegis goes down. Wait, is it enough? 13 kills. If we get the 3 kills and the win, I don't think it's enough though. But Peterbot's trying to go for it. Peterbot can't take down Blake. He's got the med kits, 20 HP. Blake takes high ground, 3v1. It comes down to Blake, one of the vets. P versus Blake. You have to think Blake's going to go down here. Is it enough though? That's going to be the question. No way the 16 kill win might
Did he
not
get
be
that?
enough. What the?
14 points was the difference. Congratulations to your Major 1 champions. Agers, Acorn, and Pollo. 14
crazy
points separated that win.
While these
Holy
two last
smokes,
games were
dude.
huge for Peterbot, it still was not enough
Dang.
to take home the tournament win. However, they only managed to lose by 14 points, almost pulling off one of the biggest comebacks in FNCS
That would have been crazy.
history. And with that being said, Agers, Acorn, and Pollo came out on top. This means that Pollo won 4. Yes, you heard
That's
that correctly.
crazy.
4 FNCS championships in a row. And finally ending the storyline of Peterbot being the most dominant player in the game. Because now everyone is gonna have to put some respect on Pollo's name.
For real,
and
actually.
although this was probably a devastating loss for Peterbot, they still placed 172 points higher than the 3rd place team, which was Clicks. And by the way, shout out to Clicks for getting his first ever 3rd place and breaking his curse. And if you guys haven't seen my interview with Clicks yet, there is a 1-hour-long video linked right here that you can go check out.
W.
Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I will see you all in the next one. Have a good one. Peace.
W video. Thank you so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content like this. And if there's a video you want to see, let me know down in the comments below. Peace.